simulator mode now, but just want to make a quick stream right now just demonstrating what this F18 model lacks. So besides the fact that it's lacking the RWR HMD, like usually if I'm getting tracked by something and if I'm using HMD to look around, you know, gives me better situational awareness if I can actually look in a direction and see that, hey, I'm getting spiked from 113, you know what I mean? So that's one thing this thing lacks. Another thing is you can't put the HMD you can't put the RWR on any of these MFDs right here. I'm getting my acronyms mixed up here, but anyway, you can't put the RWR on any of these MFDs for whatever reason, and it's on this model. Another thing this thing lacks is the RWR again on the HUD itself. So you don't. It's kind of like the Aviate B, the B plus, I think, or the Night Attack model or variant. It should have the RWR on the HUD as well, but this F18 doesn't have that. So it lacks the RWR on the MFD, the HUD, and on the HMD, unfortunately. You know, I kind of hate that because you know, it's very disappointing and underwhelming that War Thunder continues to water down products on release. You know what I mean? This is not the first time that they've done this, and it probably won't be the last time. But they take forever to release these products, and then whenever they release them, it's always very underwhelming and rudimentary in terms of. Don't get me wrong. It's well done in terms of, like, you know, detailed or whatnot, but it's just not as detailed as what it should be. Like the obvious things that should be a part of this aircraft that the model doesn't have. This product doesn't have. Now hopefully they can come correct and maybe change a few things whenever they release like a F18 like the Super Hornet or something, but I doubt that it'll be much different. Another thing this thing lacks is the Maverick Fs on here. These things right there, I don't think they're modeled correctly. There should be some kind of mode that you could set them to where they can see skim, and essentially turn them into anti-ship Mavericks. But you can't do that in War Thunder for some reason. And I'm pretty sure that this seeker head right here, right now we're looking through the seeker head of the Maverick itself, and so I'm pretty sure this seeker head is supposed to be a bit wider in terms of like the lock box, like the crosshair. You see that right there? That should be wider. Like the horizontal line should be a little bit wider, but it's not. It just looks like a regular Maverick, man. It's like that because these Mavericks are they're supposed to track ships. So, you know, that's another thing this thing lacks. And then I was testing this earlier on the SU-39, and I'm gonna demonstrate this. On the SU-39, you have a ground radar, and what the ground radar can help you do is find the ground, like moving ground targets. But the F-18 has one as well. Now with the F-18, it's supposed to track ships. Again, it's really good at tracking, you know, big targets. But the problem with this is, I tried this in the stream earlier today, is I've been playing around with the settings and the controls, and even though I deactivate target point, right, I'm gonna go to TWS GMTI, and I'm gonna vector towards where the hell am I in the first place? Yeah, hold on, let's turn around here. I'm gonna vector towards some ships here. I'm gonna try to find these ships, and here we go. And as you can see, this is one thing. I'm in air-to-ground mode right now. There are ships in front of me. I can't see any of the ships on my HUD, even though I'm in air-to-ground mode, and I'm using an air-to-ground radar, and I'm in air-to-ground mode using the Mavericks. I can't see any of these the targets, right? So what I have to do is I have to go to air-to-air mode, and now I can see these targets. I can switch between them and everything. But now that I'm in air-to-air mode, I can't shoot my Mavericks at these targets, right? So I'm gonna demonstrate this a little bit more here. I don't think that they released this, even though the community feels like this F18 was overdue, like long overdue. I don't think it was ready for the game yet. You know, just simple stuff like that this F18 doesn't have, it seems like it should have. You know what I mean? So, but it doesn't have it. Another thing that I found, okay, is whenever I am looking at if I'm in air-to-air mode and I'm selecting, or excuse me, if I'm in air-to-ground mode and I'm selecting my Mavericks, right, and I'm looking dead at a target, you would think that it would slave my TGP, meaning this right here. You would think it would slave this TGP to where my radar is looking, but it doesn't do that either, right? It doesn't do that for some reason on the F18, but let me show you what does do that, right? The SU-39 can do that, but the F18 cannot. If I'm looking at something with my ground radar, right, and I'm tracking something with my ground radar, it does not slave my my TGP to where my radar is looking for some reason. It only does that with the SU-39. So that's another thing that this F18 model lacks. And this is the late variant. This is the 14.0 model, right? This is the 14.0 product or content that Gaijin has decided to put out. This SU-39 has been out for the past, what, 2 years now? Or a year and a half or something? And it's 11.3. And I love this SU-39. I love it to death. I like the flight model and everything, the armament that it has, or whatever. But let me show you. I'm gonna come out of simulator because we don't need to be in simulator. Now, there's probably some justified reason that some game dev can give me, but to me, it's all an excuse. If you're not implementing mechanics in the game to where it's ready to implement like the F18 and stuff like that, you shouldn't be putting this content in the game. It doesn't make sense for you to do that. To me, it only makes sense if you want to make sales, if you're trying to get money. That's the only reason that they needed something that everybody would get. Why not put out the F18 now? It's like they were holding on to like a secret weapon almost, to like just get everybody to like buy into this new premium and this new update and all of this stuff. Let me show you right quick, because if they wanted to implement this to the F18, they could. Another reason why I feel like they haven't did it yet is just to kind of nerf America. We've all seen how. Oh, hold on. We've all seen how they tried to nerf France, right? I feel like they have I feel like the bias is real to some extent. Now I don't know if it's German bias, probably not German. I don't know if it's all Russian bias. Who knows? But I feel like there is a bias to some extent, and there is a definite bias to update vehicles, like new vehicles that just come out. So right now we're in TWS GMTI, which is pretty much the same radar type that the F18 has, right? If I'm not mistaken, this ground radar is a little bit better in terms of tracking than the F18 ground radar. But you can already see we're going to deactivate target point here, that red box. And boom, there you go. You see right there, we're in TWS GMTI, and my TGP is looking where my radar is looking. Imagine that. And now I can shoot, right? I can spool up my missile and look at this guy, and boom, shoot at him. One missile out, rifle, right? But what I can't do is look third person. But really, I don't even care about looking third person and shooting them, right? I will have to go into my TGP and actually shoot. But my thing is in simulator, is how would you be able to, in the F18, how would you be able to look at a target and be like, okay, I want to find a ship to shoot at it within, like, I don't know, 15 miles. And you shoot a Maverick at him, but you have no way of finding him because you can't see him in the HUD. So, like, why even put the F18 in the game if these small mechanics that can be exploited by players, you know, why put it in the game if that can happen, right? So I have to look at this green box right here that I'm moving. I have to put it on top of this green box, my radar box, and then look at them and shoot them if I want to do it in third person, right? But I'm gonna try to do it in cockpit view. Now, maybe it's not model jet. I don't know. But if it's not model jet, why put it in the game? Why? Look at this. Now, granted, I'm not in simulator or anything, but look, I can lift that little green circle. I'm in air to air mode. I'm in air to ground mode, and that green circle is there on my HUD. So it's like, is the F18 ready? You know what I mean? Is it, or did y'all just push it out just to make a few sales? You know what I mean? It's just retarded, man. At this point, I don't agree with any of these things that they do in Gaijin. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I just wanted to make a quick rant about this because I was just test blinded and I felt like it needed to be said. It needed to put out there that F18 is just not an F18 in War Thunder. You know what I mean? It's just a very watered down, lackluster, disappointing version of what Gaijin calls an F18 or you know what I mean, a Hornet. Very, very, very stupid. But I don't know. The AV8B, it has the RWR in the HUD, so I don't see any reason why they couldn't put it in the Hornet, at least the C model. The F18 has been known to actually have the RWR on the MFD. You know what I mean? Like, you can actually put it on the MFD, but they don't have it to where you can put your RWR on the MFD. Instead, it's just that little small RWR screen that you have that you can like barely see the top of. You know what I mean? So you can't really see who's tracking you, what's tracking you, how far they are until it's kind of like too close or too late at that point. But I don't know. I feel like it's just, why? You know what I mean? Like, why not put these? It's just small little stuff like that. Little, you know what I mean? That matters. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Hopefully it comes with the Super Hornet if they put the Super Hornet in the game, which I don't see why they wouldn't put the Super Hornet in the game. But this thing right here, I'm glad it's in the game now, but it's just not what it should be. You know what I mean? It's not what it should be, and in any aspect. You know what I mean? So these Mavericks are shitty. You know what I mean? They're just like any other Maverick. Whenever they're probably the most unique Maverick out of all the Mavericks, if I'm gonna be honest. And I mean, you know, the AOA thing is pretty good, but I mean, bro, the F18 has a lot of modes to, you know what I mean, that affects its flight performance. You know what I mean? It's not just an AOA button. You know what I mean? There's multiple different buttons that you can use to, you know what I mean, only give authority to the rudder, only give authority to the aileron. You know what I mean? Put more authority, you know, to just any part of the aircraft. You know, the leading edge or whatever, the flaps or whatever. You know what I mean? But they don't want to put it in the game. Maybe it doesn't fit. Maybe they're just too lazy. Who knows? But I mean, it's the game at the end of the day. But I'm just tired of them pricing these vehicles and these products up to $60 whenever they just want to water the content down at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, this is not worth $60. This is not worth $70. It's not worth $80. It's not even worth $50. You know what I mean? It's $30 at best. You know what I mean? But people pay what they will. Like I said, I'm play the where is it at? The here it is, the Mirage F1. I want to get this, but I'm not getting it at $70 damn dollars. I'm gonna get it whenever it's half off. You know what I mean? But I don't got time for $70 premiums, bro. Sorry, not sorry. I won't do it. But this A6 tram, granted that there are premiums that I regret buying, but let's see. Let's go to Sweden. This thing right here, it's a cool plane. Very, very cool plane, but it's shitty. You know? Very cool, but shitty. This is my spy plane. I did want to do like a stream sortie with this, like a recon sortie, but I don't know. We might still do it. We got to figure out how to do it with some entertaining aspect without us just being like 40,000 feet with nothing to do and nothing to look at. But anyway, let's see. F-104S. I feel like this is a cool plane just simply because it's the only F-104 radar missiles, I think. So it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? It's not the greatest in terms of performance because it's just an F-104, but it's cool nonetheless because it's an F-104. Pretty much. But China, I love the JF-17. If y'all watch the streams, y'all probably already know why I like it so much. Where is it at? Where's this shitty thing at here? Here it is. The F5. This is probably the worst thing that I've purchased in War Thunder. Some people probably say it's, you know, like, oh, just get better at it, but I just don't like playing 9-3 jets like that, bro. Like, it's especially something like this. I can see how it's cool to some people, but for me, it's just kind of like a custom toy. Like if I just want to toy around with it in a custom and kind of just troll with it or whatnot, I'll just pull this bad boy out. But I don't really like it. I don't really like it at all. But yeah, that's probably it. I mean, I kind of regret grinding the SU-22 out, but at the same time, it's an 11.0 jet, which again is just like a range, or not a range, so it's kind of like a custom, vehicle that I use. I don't really like it. You know, it's cool because it reminds me of like the MiG-21, but it's not the best. You know what I mean? It has cool missiles. Russia gets all the good shit. They get all the cool, you know what I mean, like the variety, you know what I mean? They got all the variety and all of that, but America, You know what I mean? You look at the Abrams and you're like, oh yeah, shitty Abrams. You know what I mean? You look at like the F-14s. You're like, oh okay, cool. Phoenixes or whatnot, but you know it's not like the best in terms of bombs. It's not like the best in terms of it's just not the greatest. You look at like the A-10. You're like, oh, it's a cool strike aircraft. AIM-9Ls. You know what I mean? All around good missile. But it's not the greatest, in terms of just variety, you know what I mean? But and those are just a few examples, you know what I mean? Just a few examples. F4 is not the greatest, you know what I mean? Especially this one. Look at this thing. Yeah. Fuck off. But yeah, I'm gonna buy the A10C. I'm thinking about just going ahead and buying the Aviate, but I don't know. The only Aviate I do want is this one. I don't really care about having radar missiles on the Aviate if I'm gonna be honest. I want this one. I even got it on my wish list, but I'm probably just gonna end up buying this one whenever the F-35, cause I know the F-35 is gonna come right here. The naval F-35 is probably gonna come right here. Has to. But I'll buy it then. I don't really I don't know. I don't really want to get the Aviate. Probably gonna end up buying the 12.3 F18 though, cause that is probably the best F18 in terms of just just being like all around. Like you bring the F18C late into like a like a BVR fight, you're probably gonna be defensive more than anything. But this thing right here, it can definitely compete very well against like F14s, F16s, those kind of things. But Mirages, some of the Mirages, obviously can be up there. But and then honestly, this is probably the only one with a good fucking variety. You got the AIM-9M and the F. You don't have the P, unfortunately, but you have the AIM-9M and the F, and you can carry the 9Ls, which are probably wouldn't carry two AIM-9Ls over two extra, or four AIM-9Ls over two extra radar missiles, but you know how it is. Then you get the walleyes. Yeah, man, I cannot wait to the Super Hornet, man. Then they're gonna put the Super Hornet right here. Yeah, they're definitely gonna put the Super Hornet right here. Why wouldn't they? And I hope it's the F model. If it's not the F model, I swear, bro. Make it the F model, and then make it to where you can slave the TGP over to where your radar's looking, and then that would make more sense. You know what I mean? In terms of War Thunder sense. You know what I mean? Because you have a WSO that can slave your targeting pod over. But yeah. That's pretty much it, man. I hate it, but at the same time, I love it. I'm glad it's here. But it can be better. Just like everything else in this game can be better, man. Like, some of the mechanics, in terms of like simulator mechanics, you gotta think, man. Like, the F-35 is really healthy for the game just because of this. This game competes with DCS, and because DCS is about to come out with their full or close to full fidelity model of the F-35, War Thunder can do the same. You know what I mean? So it's good for the game because obviously it directly competes with DCS, which is a good or a pretty big PC game. You know what I mean? So I think that's gonna do it for the stream. Sorry, no no gameplay, but I'll probably get in some gameplay later tonight. I just wanted to rant about the F18 because I figured, you know, it was kind of shitty, and it was about time somebody spoke up about it. Cause, you know, I hate for this game to just be watered down the way it's been watered down. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Catch y'all in a bit.